Hello there, internets. It's me, Ryan, here from Tokyo, Japan, as always, and it's that time of year again. We're celebrating, well, I can't say celebrating, we're observing the anniversary of 9/11, as usual. And I thought I would do a video just to express my thoughts on it, now that it's 10 years out, and express a few things that I don't hear enough. You know, it was a horrific thing. Really, no excuse for that type of mega death. No excuse for that level of violence and destruction and death on people who had nothing to do with what brought it on us. Everyone who died that day had nothing to do with the reasons it happened. Complete innocence. It's kind of like when you have a gang fight on the street and someone gets shot by a stray bullet. That's kind of what the victims of 9/11 are like. So that's the first thing I want to acknowledge, is those poor people who died that day. My heart goes out to the victims, the families, and the survivors, and the estate of the deceased. I can't imagine what it feels like. Cannot. But I can empathize with them feelings of all them people involved trying to move on. So my heart goes out to you. So, second point is, and the big question that I've been thinking about the past couple of days is, how have we changed? And are we better off as a country, as a culture, and as a people? Let's take a look at what's happened since that day. Not only our economy, but our whole economic structure keeps creeping towards collapse. We're now involved, in essence, in 6 wars at the same time. In essence, our debt has finally got out of control after years of creeping higher and higher. Civil liberties are at an all-time low since the days of we were a colony, and since the days of Lincoln and the Civil War. We've been through 2 presidents now since this has happened. You know, neither one has really put this issue to bed and really claimed that we have satisfied ourselves with our, being vengeful. Yeah, Bin Laden's dead. I still say whatever that. That doesn't impress me at all. The man was never actually on the CIA and FBI's most wanted list for 9/11. He was never wanted for it. Ever. So we killed someone we weren't officially looking for, but for propaganda purposes and media purposes and, elections. He was the boogeyman who wasn't really the boogeyman. There's that. And when I look at the behavior of Homeland Security, which that's another product, that just depresses me. To see our nation get to that level. Homeland Security reminds me of Fatherland Security, which was a department under Hitler's Nazi Germany. Pretty much the same thing if you research it and you see what Homeland Security does, and you see what Fatherland Security did. Almost exactly the same. 9/11 gave us the Patriot Act, which was a death kill to most of the amendments in the U.S. Constitution, and pretty much goes against ethically the preamble of the Constitution, the whole idea of American government. And Congress keeps renewing it, slowly chipping away at it. I'd give them credit for that. The few congressmen who do have some sort of sense about them, slowly chipping away at it, but it's going to take a long time to really get rid of the Patriot Act, unfortunately. It's going to be with us. It's Bush W's legacy, really. That and wars and all that debt we owe to China now. And if you think China's not taking advantage of that politically behind closed doors, you're fooling yourself. Don't believe the U.S. media who tries to make China out to be a joke, and don't fall into that trap of all of Washington's attempted bullying of China. China knows their position with us, and they know the clout they got because of all that debt we earned with them due to the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. They know. And they're being cool about it, but I guarantee you they're pulling strings politically from the prying eye of the public with the United States. I guarantee you that. So that's some of the things it's given us. Let's look at how that's affected us. In many respects, you can say America is now leaning towards ultra-nationalism, which is dangerous. I'm a big supporter of nationalism and sovereignty, big time, but ultra-nationalism is counterproductive, at least the arrogance, and it lets the government do a lot of, to speak frankly, stupid shit. All you gotta do is beat the war drums these days and rattle a few sabers, and a lot of Americans are gun-ho. They go bomb some people. Like George Carlin said, the only thing America's really been really good at these days is bombing brown people. And unfortunately, in a very ironic way, he's right. So it affected us by putting a strong vein of ultra-nationalism into the American psyche. It also made us extremely paranoid, xenophobic, which is, xenophobia should not be part of the American experience, and it's something we have battled against for decades, centuries, to stomp out of our culture. And we finally get to the point to where xenophobia was marginalized. It comes roaring back in retro fashion due to some of the Karl Rove, Bush Cheney propaganda machines. Blame the Muslims for everything. Blame the Arabs for everything. I think the Arabs, that shocked them considering just how much propaganda they already deal with. The United States dishes out to maintain the state of Israel and to assist Israel. Yeah, the Arabs don't have a good impression of us at all. They haven't for a long time, and we went to this whole route, hate the Muslims, blame the Muslims, mistreat the Muslims, and treat them as their second-class citizens. Pretty much the straw that broke the camel's back with them. We don't have any credibility left in the Arab world, except for a few tiny pockets here and there. And due to the Arab Spring, we lost a lot of influence because a lot of popular U.S. dictators are now falling left and right like dominoes. I don't know if you can see this due to the video effect I'm using, but it's some Chuhai, of course, but it's the 8%. Yeah, 8% alcohol. Chuhai is basically Nihonshu, but a really cheap version of it. Very popular, common in Japan. Kind of like natural light in America. Anyways, other ways it affected us, is that, well, I think is the biggest thing, and it's turned out to be a bit of a positive. It's made Americans much more aware of what's going on politically, socio-politically, and culturally. You see a lot of Americans who are far more well-informed than you used to pre-9/11. That's the one positive that's come out of it. You're seeing a political awakening in America. Sometimes it has good effects, sometimes it has negative effects, but overall I believe that to be a positive, because in order to get this republic back to where it needs to be, in a direction that our forefathers sent us in, yeah, people have to be informed politically. They gotta know what's going on so they can run their country, because the idea of America, as we know, is a country ran by the common people, and the politicians are our employees. They do what we say. So it hasn't been the case in America for a long time. So the more educated people become about what's going on, at least we'll have a better chance at restoring our republic. Another thing that I've noticed, I don't hear people talk about how 9/11 has changed the American mindset and changed the American experience, is that nowadays, 10 years out, Americans are faced with finally realizing that they're not the heroes of the world that they always believed they were. The internet is showing them, alternative media is showing them that there's places in the world that America's not welcomed, and Americans are not seen as in a positive light, and America is not welcomed in general. More people are seeing that nowadays. They're seeing that America is not the hero of the world. We're not the nice guy on the street. We're not Mr. Cool. I've known that for quite some time, but most of my fellow Americans are just now waking up to that fact and realizing that our government has earned us a lot of enemies, and it's time that we take accountability for that and do something to improve that situation, because America is a lot better off not having that many damn enemies, just over power control to maintain our empire. But that's my thoughts here on 9/11. So, as always, if you want to leave a video response or leave a comment in the comment box, please do. Until next time, this is Ryan from Tokyo. Check it out.